Hey there folks, this is Jeremy Hamm from Hamm-tone Guitars. This is just a little overview of what's been going down in the shop the last while. We got the Octave Mandolin going. There's walnut back and sides, radiused back, but a solid carved spruce top. It's sort of a hybrid design. It makes it a little bit quicker, yet gives pretty exceptional results from a tonal perspective. The majority of the tone is coming from the soundboard. A lot of instruments are laminated or pressed, and having a carved solid top makes a huge difference. This pantograph tracing machine is something that I use to rough out the soundboards, or sometimes the backs if I'm doing a carved back as well. But it roughs the shape out in an accurate manner while allowing me to fine tune and adjust the shape before I thickness it and graduate the top. When I run my classes, I use this simple machine to help keep things moving in an expedient manner and get consistent results. You can see Terry here carving his L5 or Zenith style archtop guitar, and I use a carbide carving bit. It's similar to what you can use with those angle grinders, but it's a router bit as opposed to an angle grinder bit. It's easy to clean up. You can use a propane torch and a little bit of heat, and it pretty much burns everything off. Coming up next, you can see the rim is assembled. So we bent the sides. I use solid sides and interior veneers, 2 veneers usually. When it comes to the method or style of construction, I really like the old 1930s and 40s Epiphone guitars, similar to what David Rawlings plays. This is a 1940 Zenith carved spruce top, pressed walnut laminated back, and solid walnut sides. The guitar has a dual action truss rod, or they called it a compression rod, but that is one of the first dual action truss rods to my knowledge. I had a 39 Olympic that also had the dual action compression rod. Pretty neat gadget if it works. So here's the top after it's been roughed out with the pantograph and then smoothed out with scrapers, finger planes, different sanding devices and such. And these are the projected thicknesses that I plan on having on the guitar. You can see that that's where I rough out the thickness from the back or the inside with drill press. And more shadows. I always love shadows. I like the recurve and the way that the shadows draw those little lines, help me see if I'm doing a good job with making sure that I have nice symmetry, a nice little mustache. There's the rim with basswood lining on the soundboard side, and then I put solid lining on the back. I should say kerfing, reverse kerfing on the soundboard side. And yeah, oh man, I just love looking at this thing. So that's the top just being rough fitted to see how it fits in relation to the perimeter. Everything seems to be good. I've got turnbuckles in there, just MDF blocks, whatever, to use as spacers. And I'm laying out the F-hole position so I can make sure that I carve everything properly in relation to where the bridge is going to be sitting. There's going to be a lot of tension, downwards force on that belly from the bridge. So there's Mr. Bojangles the squirrel. He is the shop mascot, as you can see. If he can't escape, the guitars will last a long, long time and sound good. Mr. Bojangles. So there's the back fitted and getting ready to be glued. I guess right there I'm in the process of getting ready to notch the braces. There's Terry, he's building the L5. There's the Octave Mandolin again. After I've cut out the F-holes and started to trim them and clean them up, The serial number is stamped, everything is together. I do believe I still need to put some bracing on it yet, so if you keep an eye on it. So there's a standard dreadnought. That's the size of the Octave Mandolin, and that's one of those little baby Martins. So again, it's bigger than a baby Martin, but smaller than a dreadnought. So it's not a small instrument. There's Marcel checking out the thickness of his long neck tenor guitar. Need to put light behind the soundboard so you can see what's happening with thickness. That was Maurice the dog. Here's the Octave Mandolin after it's braced with cleats in the center. I like putting cleats in the center of the soundboard just in case it gets dried out and it wants to crack. Usually the cracks occur beside the center seam. So if you put cleats on the center seam, it will reduce the chance of cracking. Not always, but I think it helps. Wherever I can try to help eliminate a possible future error, I will try. So we used spool clamps for assembling the body with gluing and joining the soundboard to the rim. So we're just doing a dry run test fitting here. As you can see, it's all glued up, ready to go. Now, this video is not complete. I'm gonna add a little bit more later on when the instrument is done, or maybe I'll just, post some videos of me playing it later. But here we are binding. I use a method I learned from David Freeman in Saskatchewan, and it's the old Spanish rope tying method. Works really well. I put wedges underneath to make sure that the back doesn't get crushed, but it's a nice way of binding. So this is a new product I've tried just recently. It's a UV cured, eco-friendly epoxy finish top coat sealer. It's actually really odd because I used to spray polyester similar to what Taylor Guitars uses, but that stuff smelt just so terrible, and it would be sticky, it would be everywhere. So I don't want to use that stuff anymore. I stopped that years ago. But most often I just use waterborne finishes or shellac, something that's environmentally friendly and also healthy for my lungs. I want to live a long time if I can. This is a neat product because it cures so fast. Now, there's all kinds of ways of doing things, but I got to tell you, this finish, after I put 2 coats of this stuff on, sanding in between, and then used my UV light to cure it, we're talking 1 kilowatt UV light, I tried applying the top coat of this Solarez product a few different ways, brushing, wiping, etc. Now, I'll tell you, I tried applying it with a traditional French polishing method, just using cheesecloth inside a white linen or t-shirt cotton sort of cloth. And I'll tell you, it works amazingly. I'm quite impressed with it, and the fact that you can actually get it cured and ready to be buffed in a matter of hours. It's quite an advantage that a luthier can have. So I'm gonna try French polishing this stuff on the backs and sides for a while. I'm not brave enough to use it on a soundboard yet, but it's called Solarez. I can't believe it's not lacquer, and it has a beautiful nice luster. It really helps bring out the medullary rays in the wood, and it helps embellish the chatoyances of all the different angles of the grain. But it's nice stuff. So as you can see, I'm moving around with that stick, but this is the sealer again. So I don't think I have any videos of me applying the top coat, but I'm gonna keep on doing this for a while, and I'll let you in on my opinions later on. So shortly this little segment will finish, and we're gonna see what it looks like with a few different coats of finish on the back and the sides as well. I just did the back earlier, but now I'm just doing a nice little close-up of the curly sugar maple binding. It's torrefied curly maple, and then it's curly walnut from BC, and it's no sealer on the soundboard, just the back and the sides now. But look at that, it's a nice finish. So I'm pretty excited about using it more in the future. It has a nice fast build, and it sands to a beautiful white powder, which is very, very nice because it's not sticky. If you cure it properly, it sands beautifully. And as I said before, it's so fast. It doesn't build up on your sandpaper like shellac, and it dries so much faster than your conventional waterborne finish. However, I'm still using waterborne finish on the Soundboard. You're going to see some pictures soon of the Soundboard. I use the Wood Essence from Saskatoon, their product called Anthem. It's a lovely gloss or satin finish spray lacquer. It has no odor. It has relatively quick dry time. It sands and it sounds and it feels just like nitrocellulose. However, it's not nitrocellulose. I use the Color Effects dye that you can get from Wood Essence in Saskatoon for the burst. You can see the various stages of spraying. The binding is taped off. After I get the suitable color contrast from the middle to the edges, I then remove the tape and clean up the purflings, and then apply the top coat. So this is after a few coats of clear, being afraid to sand through the color. I usually build it up a fair bit before I knock it down, but that's what it's gonna look like in the future, and I'll keep you posted with the results of the Octave Mandolin. Here's Marcel's long neck tenor guitar. There's Terry's L5/Zenith, and if you ever want to build an archtop guitar, feel free to send me a message or an email, and perhaps we can make that dream of yours come true. It's really enjoyable working in a small scale environment where, there's not tons of people. It's just us, just me and you, and maybe another person or two, building guitars, flat tops and arch tops, and keep an eye on things. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourself a wonderful afternoon or evening or whatever it is that you're doing.